Hello friends, welcome back to Strategic Management. We are talking of generic competitive strategies, and we laid a foundation for our understanding on the basis of the organizational life cycle and choices of generic strategies throughout the life cycle space. And we tried to understand that if growth is steered well, it is called growth strategy. If saturation is inevitable, but if we manage that, it is called stability strategy. And then decline is inevitable. If we manage that, revitalize things, turn around things, it is called turnaround strategy. Let us see how at micro level we try to do that, and here we would be referring to the standard text which we are following: Kellett, Thompson, Strickland and Gamble, Crafting and Executing Strategy, the quest for competitive advantage. And that is what I said, that some authors, they focus upon competitive advantage, that is substitution based direct advantage. Some authors, they focus upon alternative based advantage, wherein the sphere throughout the the space wherein some alternative would replace your product, that can also be thought of, and so on. So, but as of now we are focusing upon competitive perspective, probably in all the terms, but largely in the substitution terms. So, generic competitive strategies, as the author says, that is, a company's competitive strategy deals exclusively with the specifics of management's plan, we talked about planning earlier, for competing successfully, that is going ahead of the competition. We may talk about in terms of market share or those kind of things. So, competing successfully, its specific efforts to position itself, one is competing successfully, one is that it is a part of a plan, and efforts are directed towards to position itself in the marketplace, please the customers, satisfy the customers, gain customer loyalty, ward off competition threats, and achieve a particular kind of a competitive advantage, so that customer comes straight to you. Nike, you can name these kind of organizations, Apple, Patanjali, Borolin and several others in different spaces. Automotives, you have several: Mercedes Benz, BMWs on one side, Maruti Suzuki on the other side, and so on. Two biggest factors that distinguish one competitive strategy from another are whether a company's market target is broad or narrow. You are going for a larger market or a focused market. That is how authors, they tried to think about this, and that is very logical also. We will see in a short while from now. Second is whether the company is pursuing a competitive advantage linked to lower costs or differentiations, and you would realize that these are the two axes of our discussions basically. So, lower cost or differentiation. Here I wish to suggest, and I will remind you later on, that when we talk of competition, red ocean perspective by Michael Porter, and in the meanwhile when till I go there, talking about bypassing the competition by Professor W. Chan Kim in terms of blue ocean, I suggest for you to read what Michael Porter talks about in terms of red ocean. So, here largely, and why I mentioned that, because largely when we talk of substitution based and even alternative based competition, we are thinking in terms of cost as a trade off to distribution, cost or differentiation. And you would realize when we would discuss blue ocean that W. Chan Kim talks about value innovation, wherein cost and differentiation comes into picture. That would be very interesting for us to learn, but till then, cost or differentiation, that if you want to differentiate largely as against competition, then you have to actually go for increasing the cost of in the whole process goes, which will affect either pricing, or if you can't change the prices, you have to go for larger sales, or you have to bring another means of revenue in association with the product, for example, newspaper industry. We will be talking about these. So, these two factors give rise to 5 competitive strategic options. That is how authors have built the case, and this case should be coupled up with our basic understanding of life cycle sphere of choices of growth, stability and turnaround, which is slightly longer term. Here we are focusing upon further shorter term or shorter strategic choices. Look at this. So, as I said, authors have taken market target on vertical axis. On horizontal axis, it is type of competitive advantage being pursued. That is, on vertical axis, the two elements of market target is a narrow buyer segment, or let us say a focused kind of a segment, that these are the types of customers based on specific income group. Just an example, who are our market basically, or broad cross section of buyers, mobile phones, or a vehicle which can be used for by anyone, not just because of that they would be able to pay that much only, but also that might be their second car, they want a specific kind of a car and so on, two wheelers, Honda Activa and so on. So, there are several kinds of examples in terms of as far as broad cross section buyers go. On horizontal axis, when you say type of competitive advantage being pursued, lower cost is the one element, is the first element, and differentiation is the second element on this axis. Now, look at these blocks, look at this model, the quadrants, and you would realize that if we are going for a narrow buyer segment and lower cost, it says that it is focused low cost strategy. You are maintaining low cost for a focused market, focused low cost strategy. If you are focusing upon differentiation in terms of product and a narrow buyer segment, then it is focused differentiation strategy. On the other side, if you are going for broad cross sections of buyers, larger number of buyers with lower cost, it is called overall low cost provider strategy. And these are micro level steps which may definitely lead you towards longer time as well, but these are the choices you are making within the sphere you are working on. If you will look at these steps before I go ahead, if you look into these steps, you would realize that many organizations who are focusing upon focused differentiation, they are trying to actually come up with innovative product solutions or processes here to create a differentiation, but they are managing cost. That means they would not be going for fundamental differentiation, because that might require costs as well. And on the other side, people who are managing lower cost with narrow buyer kind of a thing basically, so they are focusing upon their value chain and the cost itself. We will be talking about these, but this is quite evident in front of us. And if they are going for broad cross sections of buyers with lower cost basically, so definitely they are focusing upon both the elements simultaneously, that is, they are actually maintaining their customer loyalty, satisfaction, and they are maintaining the growth by adding on newer buyers and customers while maintaining the lower costs. And on the last quadrant, broad differentiation strategy means they are focusing upon differentiation with larger number of cross section of buyers, and in between this best cost provider strategy that comes in, wherein you have chosen optimal kind of a situation which is working for you well. But these four quadrants talk about as far as market target and type of competitive advantage being pursued, and we can think in terms of n number of products. By this time you would have already started thinking in terms of that which example around you, for example, the kind of scooter or vehicle you are having, that organization is focusing upon what element. You would immediately realize where Hero Motors is focusing upon, where Honda Activa is focusing upon, where Maruti Suzuki is focusing upon, where Mercedes Benz is focusing upon, Mahindra Automotives, Tata Automotives, Titan Watches, and so many, where are they focusing upon, where Khadi Gramodyog is there, where Fab India is there, so on. So, try and start writing those products which fit into your sphere of understanding with this kind of structure. So, overall low cost provider strategies, a low cost provider's basis for competitive advantage is lower overall costs than competitors, and we already discussed this. Successful low cost leaders who have the lowest industry costs are exceptionally good at finding ways to drive costs out of their businesses and still provide a product or service that buyers find acceptable. Are we talking of burgers here, or are we talking of fast food chains here? Think about this. They have actually thought thought of very carefully in the sphere of their with reference to their value chains in terms of procuring quality supplies at an optimally negotiated price, and to manage the larger sales for larger number of people, and to consistently provide us with that particular kind of a product and maintaining that kind of a sphere. You start putting up there, for example, toothpastes, shampoos, oils, let us say coconut oils, cooking oils, or let us say electrical appliances. Try look into your kitchen at this moment and start identifying where these companies they belong to as far as the product sphere goes. Look into Microsoft, Google, as well as the different kinds of products you are using by them basically, and you would realize what we are talking of. Two major avenues for achieving a cost advantage, and how to do that. To achieve a low cost edge over rivals, the firm's cumulative costs across its overall value chain must be lower than the competitor's cumulative cost, starting from procurement to processing. And even procurement means that if their suppliers are not the manufacturers themselves as far as their supplies goes, they would be taking it from somewhere. So, that kind of a procurement also, and if they are directly negotiating with let us say the end suppliers or the origin basically, then whole of the value chain. So, think about starting from the origin point to the end point in terms of as far as maintaining low costs. If they are unable to go for negotiating lower prices for supplies, they might go for methodologies wherein their transportation cost becomes low. They might shift their production bases near their suppliers, so their transportation cost, if it is large, then it becomes low, and so on. Many organizations they try to do that. So, there are two major avenues for accomplishing this. Perform value chain activities more cost effectively than rivals, and that is what I was precisely referring to when I said that you even change your manufacturing basis to those places wherein you have large suppliers basically, because so that you have a direct connect with them and you do not want to waste time and money in supplies in transportation. Just an example. Revamp the firm's overall value chain to eliminate or bypass some cost producing activities. Precisely, you become your own retailers, you become your own suppliers. Many a times people start manufacturing as their core supplier themselves. So, they go into manufacturing the product which is largely required for manufacturing the end product which they are going for. Many a times an automotive manufacturer can think in terms of becoming a steel manufacturer also. Tatas, they already do that, and so on, but they do that originally. So, but still many people can think of as far as becoming those. Many organizations who are into processed food, or let us say packaged food, or let us say snacks and those kind of products, basically they are now going for their own farming as well. They are developing themselves as farmers. So, they are growing several kinds of products by themselves. Many organizations they have already been doing as far as the whole thing goes. Now, look at the cost drivers. The keys to driving down company costs are outsourcing or vertical integration. You have integrated or you have outsourced, depending upon which is better for you. Economies of scale, definitely that is a proven kind of a fact, and for larger details you may look into any of such examples or the subject areas, core economics, wherein how scale develops the effectiveness for itself. So, economies of scales. Learning and experience, you keep on training yourself on developing efficiencies and bringing finish to and where you can save costs and so on. Capacity utilization. Many times several organizations they put up larger plants, but because they are unable to develop market for themselves, their capacity is underutilized, and that again increase their costs in terms of 2-3 elements. Just to enumerate, one, they are not using their capacity, so that is again a cost, because machinery definitely has to depreciate. So, that has a cost. You have hired people to produce X number, they are producing because of the market demand is not there, they are producing Y number. So, the capacity of people is also underutilized. On the other side, you have created infrastructure to accommodate those kind of goods which you would have produced. That is again you are not doing, so that cost is also there. Plus that cost would be coupled up with a potential kind of a cost also, wherein if you would have produced those many goods, that would have earned you X kind of a money, which is actually contributing to your loss. So, you could have done, you are not doing, that is adding to your costs basically. So, that is how a detailed analysis can be done, and there are several books and several papers which do detailed cost analysis. For that you can go to accounting books or those kind of things as well. Supply chain efficiencies, how make every point of supply chain to be more efficient. For example, many manufacturers, they keep guiding their suppliers in enhancing their manufacturing efficiency, so that everything contributes to the efficiency of the organization. Input cost, production technology and design cost, many organizations, they become their own technologists and hire technologists from all over the world to actually support themselves technologically, and they design the structure. So they do that many a times. And bargaining power, what kind of a negotiation power? This bargaining power is significant because bigger is the brand value you have, bigger is your bargaining power, because brand value contributes in future negotiations with different kinds of suppliers, because suppliers, along with the profits which they wish to earn, they want to have a consistent buyer. So, these are the key drivers as far as when cost is there. Now, just an example, Patanjali Ayurved Limited, one of my favorites, but definitely a very relevant and a composite example, and so on. So, Patanjali has become a prominent player in the Indian consumer goods industry by emphasizing cost leadership, definitely. And if you will look into their complete value chain, you would realize what I am talking of. They are into their own research and development, they are having strong supplies from the farmers, procurement, and they are loyal suppliers, wherein they go for even supporting the farmers in terms of as far as the water supplies goes and electricity supplies goes, and giving them insights on how to grow well, and so on, and even the seeds many times, so on. So, they are continuously in association with them. So, the company focuses on producing natural and Ayurvedic products at lower cost compared to multinational competitors, which we have seen, which we have experienced, and that is the kind of advantage they have, they are bringing for themselves, because by the time others would have thought of, Patanjali actually went into the deepest of the corners of the country, procuring whatever is best for as far as their Ayurved products goes. Through efficient production processes, their plants are well efficient. There is a plant in a place called Padartha near to this place where I am standing. It is hardly 15 kilometers from here, 15-20 kilometers from here. It is a complete integrated food processing unit, having almost 20-21 integrated factories, and a marvel which they have created with zero waste. So, I will not go into specific details of that, you can search for their website. So, you see, through efficient production processes, backward integration and minimalistic packaging, Patanjali offers products at competitive prices, appealing to price conscious Indian consumers, and we all know their growth story. They are going very steady and expanding large. Walmart is a very big example, and it has been talked about in several books, literature around the world. In different B schools, there are n number of case studies and documentaries on Walmart. So, Walmart exemplifies the cost leadership strategy by leveraging its vast scale to negotiate lower prices with suppliers and achieve economies of scale, as reflected in its slogan, save money, live better. They are actually utilizing this low cost based efficiency in the prices they are maintaining at a particular kind of a level for their customers. The company's commitment to offering everyday low prices while sustaining profitability solidifies its position as a leader in the retail industry. We all know how they are doing, and just to give you a glimpse, this is what they are doing. In billions of dollars in 2023, the revenue was $611.29 billion. Compare it with the GDP of some of the countries around, smaller countries, and you would realize what I am talking of. So, that is what, how they are described in terms of as far as their growth and efficiency goes. And look at this, leading retailers worldwide in 2021 by retail revenue. Where stands Walmart as compared to Amazon, as compared to Costco or Schwartz or Home Depot or Kroger and JD.com and so on? Huge difference, I think more than 100%. Indigo Airlines is also an important example here. There can be few things debated in terms of as far as airlines business goes, but here low cost airlines becoming low priced airlines option for several kinds of commuters, Indigo tried to maintain that. There is no doubt that they are doing well. Indigo is one of the largest and most successful low cost carriers in India. The airline operates a fleet of fuel efficient aircraft and maintains high aircraft utilization rates, which helps in reducing operational costs. Indigo focuses on offering no frills services such as charging for additional amenities like meals and seat selection to keep ticket prices low. This approach has allowed Indigo to capture a significant market share in India's domestic aviation sector while remaining cost effective, and we all know the story. Just visit their website and you would realize that it fits into the frame of discussion which we are going for, and that is where Indigo stands as far as domestic market share of airlines across India in financial year 2023 by passengers carried. And so look at this. Now let us go to broad differentiation strategy. The essence of a broad differentiation strategy, as the authors Kellett, Thompson, Strickland and Gamble say, is to offer unique product attributes that a wide range of buyers find appealing and worth paying more for. When you go for broader differentiation, then definitely you are focusing upon a broader market with differentiation. That means you definitely would like to charge premium for that. Successful differentiation allows the firm to do one or more of the following: command a premium price for its products. Differentiation demands that, and it should be so, because you are steering growth, and for steering growth definitely there are hidden costs also, plus you are supposed to earn larger profit margins for the day when you have to stabilize and utilize those profits to be reinfused in technological upgradation and so on. It is a cyclical kind of a thing. Increase unit sales because additional buyers are won over by the differentiating features. So, you see, we talked about adding numbers in terms of revenue, in terms of buyers. Gain buyer loyalty to its brand. So, retention, acquisition, both the sides. Now, let us look into value drivers. The keys to creating a differentiation advantage, and these are very important, which authors have added. So, there we talked about cost drivers, here we talk of value drivers, or you may think in terms of value drivers having an innovation backdrop as well, which I have just added to add a flavor to your thinking basically, and for that you can refer to my subject as I told you. So, the keys to creating a differentiation advantage, wherein value drivers are like product features and performance. You add on features to the product. You add on one more camera in the mobile phone, why not? You add on specific customer services, service at the doorsteps, service wherever you require on the highways, insurance service along with the automobile purchase, other services with the automobile purchase, several services at the airport for you as far as airlines goes, several other services when you are thinking in terms of banking, app based services, or different kinds of services and so on. Production, research and development definitely is associated with innovating upon. Point of innovation you would choose. So, and that innovation which would generate value, that is why the action is called value driver. So, innovation is at the backdrop, the choice of innovation, and you act upon through that innovation, act upon something through that innovation, and it generates value, then it is called as value drivers. That is how the relationship is. So, technology and innovation itself basically, but innovation in production and innovation lies at the back of almost everything. So, technology and innovation specifically in the processes and all around. Input quality, and you see, when authors were talking about technology and innovation as a separate value driver, there was a time when this specific element had to be looked upon separately. Input quality, employees skill training experience, you are continuously upgrading your employees, sales and marketing, and quality control processes. Examples are Titan is known for differentiation strategy in Indian watch industry, and we know the whole story with product lines like Titan Raga targeting women, and Titan Edge targeting the premium segment. Titan has successfully differentiated itself from competitors by focusing on design, quality and customer experience, and we know this growth story. Royal Enfield I talked about. A motorcycle manufacturer stands out in Indian automotive market with its distinctive vintage inspired designs and rugged performance by emphasizing classic styling, unique engine configurations and a cult following which they developed in due course of time. You would find several riders going on Enfield for long distance riding. Royal Enfield differentiates itself from mass market motorcycle brands and appeals to enthusiasts seeking iconic and differentiated riding experiences, and now they are going for a larger market space as well. But we have talked about that, and this is one of the organizations I admire for turning around fundamentally. Focused low cost strategy aims at securing a competitive advantage by serving buyers in the target market niche at a lower cost and lower price than those of rival competitors. So, securing a competitive advantage by serving buyers in target market niche. This strategy has considerable attraction when a firm can lower costs significantly by limiting its customer base to a well defined buyer segment. And the only real difference between a low cost provider strategy and a focused low cost strategy is the size of the buyer group to which a company is appealing. Arvind Eye Care is one of the most important examples, and definitely Thomson and Strickland and Thomson, Gamble and Strickland and Jain, their book, it's an Indian adaptation of the same book which we are referring to. So, they refer to Arvind Eye Care, and they say that Arvind network with its 5 eye hospitals in India has become one of the most productive systems in the world, conducting about 300,000 surgeries a year in addition to seeing over 2.6 million outpatients each year. The numbers, they speak by themselves. What enabled Arvind Eye Care to do that is a whole story, and you can refer to the text for that as far as the situation goes, and it is a very unique case study and a unique example. Arvind's low cost allowed them to keep their prices for cataract surgery very low at rupees 500. That is the kind of efficiency they developed. Now, focused differentiation strategy. So, focused differentiation strategies, they involve offering superior products or services tailored to the unique preferences and needs of a narrow, well defined group of buyers, which we have talked about. Forest Essentials is a very important example which you would have seen in recent times in almost all the large shopping malls. So, they specialize in luxury Ayurvedic skincare and wellness products, and rest is history. You may refer to the website, which actually demonstrates how they are doing that, and if you go to some large shopping mall, you would find Forest Essentials there. Fab India specializes in offering a unique range of handmade and artisan based products to celebrate India's rich cultural heritage. The company focuses on differentiation by sourcing traditional textiles, handicrafts and home decor items directly from skilled artisans and weavers across rural India. They created a mark for themselves. And you see, when a focused low cost or focused differentiation strategy is attractive, the target market niche is big enough, industry leaders have chosen not to compete in the niche, in which case focusers can avoid battling head to head against the industry's biggest and strongest competitors, and it is costly or difficult for multi-segment competitors to meet the specialized needs. And then there is an element of best cost provider strategy. Best cost provider strategies are a hybrid of low cost provider and differentiation strategies that aim at providing more desirable attributes while beating rivals on price, as I told you, choosing an optimal combination of everything what we are talking about. A best cost provider strategy works best in markets where product differentiation is the norm and an attractively large number of value conscious buyers can be induced to purchase mid range products rather than cheap basic products or expensive top of the line products. And there are several examples like Southwest Airlines, which did exceptionally well. It's a large case study, and this we have sourced from Kim and Mobone Blue Ocean strategy, but Southwest Airlines is a case study in Thomson and Strickland also. In almost every strategy text, Southwest Airlines has been talked about. This is how we have tried to analyze how strategic choices are made, how strategic steps are taken. I would be coming back to you with an element of addition to what we are talking of. If somehow we are doing everything ethically, and can we say that ethics itself is a strategy? I will be coming back to you with that and lots more in due course of time. Till then, goodbye.